You're welcome, everybody. You're welcome. This is the first show in 2021. I'm really excited. I'm sure your January was blessed, to be here again. I'm so glad having you. So tell people it's the first time in the first show in 2021. I'm really, really grateful to God, that we are alive. Um, it's so surprising that we're already in the third day of February. So just to welcome everyone just coming in, thank you for joining us. Share, tell people we have started today. It's Finding Purpose with Seyi, and it's the first show in 2021. I'm excited, and I'm also excited because I've got a special guest with me today, and we'll be speaking, and just let you know that you're in for a very explosive time today, because we are going to be sharing on a very, very important topic, which is about finding purpose and intentionality. How can we be intentional with what we do? For those that are just joining us and it's your first time, my name is Seyi-Oyedeji, and this is my show called Finding Purpose with Seyi, where we talk about real issue, where we talk about how to find pain, how to find purpose, despite every pain we have gone in life, how to hold what we've gone through in life as a signpost to tell others that we can make it, to tell others that nothing will stop us, to tell others that we can use whatever we have gone through in life to effect change in our community, to effect change in the lives of people, to be strength to other people, to be the voice of other people through the things that we have gone through, and be the signpost, of the Lord, to do that He has given to us. One of the best mantra that we use on this show is called "The world is waiting for the manifestation of you, of me," and we can only do that if we understand our position of finding purpose. Finding purpose is not about your job. It's not about what you went to college to read. It's not about what people tell you about. It's about your assignment. It's about what God has given to you, to do. So share, tell somebody, do a watch party. Let's come together and talk about this issue, and talk about how we can be intentional with our finding purpose. And for those that is a new year, we've got a lot of things in stock, and this will be coming out after the show also, because I'm so excited also because we are starting the Finding Purpose course. It's a coaching course, and it's so packed full. We are going to be talking about how to excavate that purpose in us, bringing in experts, doing things together for a whole 6 weeks. We're going to be doing this course together, and you just don't want to miss it. And more details will come. But now, we are just going to go into our topic today, and I'm just going to, invite my guests. So drum rolls, drum rolls, drum roll. I'm excited. I'm just going to bring him. He's already waiting, and I'm sure all our guests. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you for joining. I'm bringing him now. Yeah.
Wow.
It's really nice having you on the show, and it's really, really, blessed, that is the first show of 2021, and you're our first guest. So that's a landmark that you made.
Thank you so much.
That's a landmark. So a lot of people, you can see a lot of people have joined us also, and we are streaming on different platform. But we are so happy that you are here today, and I'm so passionate, and also that and I know that you are also passionate about what we are going to be discussing today,
Yeah.
and it's important, that we talk about some of these things. But before we talk about this, let our guest, our audience, get to know who you are. So give us a bit of introduction before we go into the crux of the matter.
Okay, my name is Victor Charfa, as it says on the screen, and I'm an international transformational speaker. I'm a mentor, the author of the book Seasons of Life. I've also co-authored a book which we launched recently too, called Knowing When to Pivot. And also, I'm a mentor. I mentor people right across the world, from across Africa actually, and even the UK. And my main passion, the main drive, is to help young Africans to ignite change and create a better future. And so my ultimate vision is to see young Africans lead positive change. So That's me in a nutshell, I can say.
Wow, wow. Thank you. And I like what you said, and I've known you for a while, and it's a blessing. I'm still going to get to that, when I got to know you and how we got connected. But I love the fact, that passion of effecting change, and we're still going to talk about that book about when to know when to pivot, But it's so important that we know, especially within our African descent, that we all need to arise without making excuses. Enough of excuses, enough of so many things, but it is time for us to arise. And I feel, and I'm sure you agree with me, that there's no better time for us to arise than this time that we are in right now. And hold on, everybody, and just go out there and just be fishers of men, like I used to say, because this is, for me, I feel this is the best time that we all need to arise. So today, Victor, we are talking about intentionality and finding purpose. So what does intentionality, what does that mean to you?
I love the story of your John Maxwell certified coach, so you might know the story he tells every time about intention. He says his father asked him a question. There are 5 birds on the wall, and 4 had the intention of jumping off. How many birds are still on the wall? And obviously, most people would think, 4 birds jumped off, 1 is left. But no, they had the intention, but that doesn't mean they've done it. I love the fact that if the word intent and the word intentionality are actually 2 different things. And obviously, intention is what you're thinking about doing, but intentionality is actually what actually drives you. Now, you mentioned purpose earlier, and I believe that once you have purpose, then you have to build intentionality to drive you. So intentionality is what drives you from the back. Purpose is where you're trying to get to. So for me, I think is mainly what drives us, because every time and everything that happens in everybody's life, something drives us every single time. And to me, I believe that's what intentionality is. And that's why we have to live lives with intentionality, because at every point of your life, if someone says to you, why are you doing this? What are your intentions for what you're doing? You have to have an answer ready.
I agree. I really agree, and I like what you said, because you mentioned Papa John Maxwell there, which is a great mentor, and it's, one of the things that he said is like, a lot of people they are very anxious, of improving themselves. They're very anxious of being a better person, but they are so unwilling to improve, where they are and improve themselves. And that's where intentionality comes from. So it's not enough to have the intent to do it. It's not enough to say, I wish I'm going to do that. Which I see a lot of people when they're doing goal setting and like, and they're writing it and they're like, I wish to, by the end of I wish to. So it's not enough wishing, it's not enough wanting to, it's not enough saying you will do it, but the intentionality that I am doing this because that is the reason I'm doing it, to fulfill a particular thing, that is key. And I like what you said. Thank you so much for that. So how can intentionality help one achieve their goal? I don't know whether you have some examples, that you can want to give us, of maybe some goals that you wanted to achieve. How can intentionality help somebody, help our viewers, achieve a particular goal from your view?
Whatever goal you have, most people don't realize that once you have intentionality, your intent always shows, and people don't realize that. You see, sometimes you get blessings according to your intentions. I grew up in northern Nigeria, and one of the things about northern Nigeria is, because I say most northerners, one thing they tend to believe is they attach so much to intentions, as in intention is like one of the main things that it's not about what you do, it's the intention, the reason why you actually do it. So when you're trying to achieve a goal, the first thing you have to ask yourself is, why do I want to achieve this goal? So if I use myself as a personal example now, I remember a day when I was in Nigeria, and I went to speak in a small city called Newman, which is like about 30-45 minutes drive from my capital, Yola, in northeast Nigeria. And I remember when I was about to start the event, the hall was full. I think there were like 150, 200 young people that were in there. And as I was about to walk in there, this young man asked me, he said, are you campaigning for something? It's quite funny, because to him, he felt, why would this guy just organize a transformational event just like that? He wants something from us. But obviously, my drive and my intention and my purpose, which I feel my calling is for Africa, is for Nigeria. And so in as much as I know, everyone has a purpose, which is the ultimate thing that drives you in life. So in that sense, sometimes your purpose might not be the one that's actually making you money. But whatever you're doing on the side that is making you money, what's driving you mainly is your purpose. Good example would be somebody like Tony Robbins. If you listen to him at the beginning, he said one of the things that drove him at the beginning was because his family was poor, didn't have food. So he decided he was going to become rich and give out food baskets to people. Les Brown talks every time about how his mother wanted to buy a house for his mother. And that was his key drive. That was his major intention. It wasn't the speaking, he was going to build a speaking business because that was the talent he had. But his major purpose and drive and intention was to buy a house for his mother. So his something comes back to me because my major intention was to impact this life and to touch these people's lives. And that was my key intention. And so because that was my intention, but obviously that guy looked at me and thought, because he used to see people coming around and doing stuff, and then they say, oh, well, good for me. And he had to ask the question. So it's interesting because my intentions were clear at that point, and that's why I made sure I delivered. Oh no, I'm not interested in that, you see. But at the end of the day, when you have the right intentions in what you're doing, you'll be amazed at how much people will help you, how much people will support you, how much people want you, because you might not know, but people can see through you why you're doing what you're doing. And if they can see a clean heart, because you'll be amazed at how it comes out. When you see that clean heart, this guy has the right intentions for the people. They will be willing to support you and they'll be willing to help you. And that's one of the main reasons why I'm able to grow, because I just have the right intentions and everyone is willing to support and to help it as much as they could, just because intentions come through as right and as pure.
Wow. That is so good, Victor, because I like what you said, that once you have that intention, people will see through you. They will see what drives you. Sometimes you might not know why you are that driven, or what, why you are taking all those things. I didn't know I was going to bring this as quick as this into the show, but that brings me to how I met you. I saw you do a fantastic emceeing at an event, and I was like, I need to get this guy. So I went to the person. I said, oh, can I get this guy? I said, oh, he's good, but he charges a lot. I was like, okay, doesn't matter. Knowing what it was, I will always pursue. You give me low, no, I will still keep on going if I believe that. And I said, I like him. And I remember sending you an email and all. I think it was an email, or I don't even know. I got maybe Messenger and all that. And I told you what I had in mind, and you said, okay. And I'm like, but I don't have money. I don't have, I'm just starting. I'm just doing that. And you said, you know what, let's do this together. And this would be my contribution, and that for me, is a sense of loyalty, is a sense of, it's more than money, if you get what I mean. Because when you get people that believe in you, especially when you're just starting out, they believe in your vision. They're ready to put their foot out for you. They're ready to do that. That for me just, it differentiates. I call them my 11 players. Wow. That's why I call them. So I put them in my basket. I said, oh, I keep putting them there, because I know that when I was nothing, when I needed something that, they went an extra mile to help me achieve, the dream that I have. And that, everybody, if you're watching, just say thank you. I've said thank you, but it's also a good place because people need to know, Victor, a lot of people get discouraged. They have a fantastic, vision. They have a fantastic, and, they reach out to people. And a good example, somebody came to asking me, and they want to have an event and all that. And they reached out to a lot of people, and they were actually torn apart because almost everybody they reached out to were like, no, this is my child, that's my child, that's my child. And I said, it's one of those things, because that is what they do, but you need to start from somewhere. But getting people that intentionally, which is part of it, sow into investment, sow into people's dream is a blessing that everybody needs to pray for, because you need that. So thank you again, for believing with us. And because of that, we have used you for the second year, isn't it?
Twice, yeah.
And we'll still continue to use you because you're in our basket. In our basket. So if you need an MC, an international MC, Victor is highly recommended. I didn't know I'm going to say this at the early stage, but he is highly recommended. Yes, he is. He's good at what he does. He has the right heart and he loves God. So for me, that ticks. Tick, 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 tick. And he brought his wonderful wife to the events too. So tick, 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 tick. So how can, going to my next question, how can how can one reevaluate their direction and their action, when they've because, like, our show is finding purpose, and sometimes we also do finding purpose in pain when we bring people that have gone through one thing or the other. So how do one reevaluate their life direction and an intention when life has, especially in a situation like this where we are, when life has actually bastardized you, if there's another one like that. A lot of people at this time have lost their jobs. A lot of people at this time, they have lost family members. A lot of people at this time are going through one thing or the other, and that's even different from the baggages that a lot of people are already carrying from previous years before 2020 and 20. So how do people reevaluate themselves? Especially we're in February now, we're just starting their year. Despite all they have gone through, despite what problem they have gone through, and reevaluate themselves and bring themselves, remotivate themselves to be intentional despite all they have gone through.
It is. Yeah, you're right. It's a tough time for everybody, and we're caught with the virus. There's not much we can do at this time. But I think sometimes you got to realize, number one, if you can't control what's around you, then you have to control what's in you. And as I was running this morning, I listened to a great speaker called Darius Daniels, and he mentioned that you see things from where you're sitting. You see, so if you're sitting somewhere and you're looking at one direction, what you're going to see is different from where you actually move your seat. And what you see creates what you do. So the first thing I would say is change your seat. When you change the seat, that means you change the perspective. You change the angle that you're looking at it at. There's a pandemic. You might have lost your job, or maybe you're earning less, or maybe you're stuck at home, maybe you have to homeschool. All you have to do is begin to change your seat, which is number one. And we have to learn to live when you live with purpose and you live with gratitude in your mind. Because to me, I think what's ultimate is the fact that you're alive. If you're alive, that means there's hope. No matter how bad it gets, you see, as long as you're alive, that means that's number one, there's hope. So when you have that gratitude in your mind, you see, I listened to a speaker today and he said, those that woke up on the 1st of January 2021, it was more or less like it was a plus. Because for you to be alive in 2021, survive 2020 with everything that's happened, not even just COVID, 2020 was 1 year that, oh my Lord. Because I had the privilege of preaching for New Year's Eve in my church, and I was talking about this, and I said, the crazy thing is most people are looking forward to 2020 ending. As if by the time you jump into 21, it's something to tick one button and then everything is going to disappear. But no, there's a continuation, you see. And now we're in the continuation. So most importantly, I can say, because obviously to just save time, I would say the most number one thing is change your seat, shift your perspective, look at it differently. And I think for me, most important is come from a place of gratitude. Because whichever way it is, there are people who, they have jobs, but they're not alive now. So jobs are no good to them. There are people who have tons of money, but they're not even here anymore now. So the money's no good to them. So when you begin to look at life generally, you're alive. When there's life, there's hope. That is the most important thing. So what I would say is look at everything from the point of gratitude, and that will be a great starting point. Change the view, and you begin to see things differently, and begin to do things differently.
Wow. That's so good. But looking at Victor, the way everything is all packed together, and he's looking handsome and all. Has there been times in your life, and it's okay if you want to share or not, when you've been in that situation and you're like, there wasn't any light at the end of the tunnel? Somebody say, oh, there's light. I'm like, I can't even see a spark. So don't say there's light. So has there been any time in your life, where everything seems as if it was just so dark and you were in sin and you were able, or what did you do in those periods to be able to get out from it? If you would like to share that.
It's amazing because my book Seasons of Life actually came out of when I was in a dark place, because I was absolutely stuck in there, because obviously I was ill, and which I was quite ill. I was quite ill, and normally I traveled to speak and stuff like that. I couldn't travel obviously because I was ill. I'd been traveling for quite a while. I wasn't making much money, so obviously I had no money to. And I was working on a deal in which I had all my hopes planted on that deal, as in that's going to pull through. And I remember clearly I was in the barber shop that day with my boys, and then the phone rang and they said, Victor, this is not going to work. And that was it. And so I was devastated, basically. So then I'm sitting down there, not feeling well, no money in my pockets. I'm there like, what am I going to do? So it felt like a really, really dark place. And I thought, there's no point even doing anything. You see, but obviously I'll listen to a preaching by Bishop T.D. Jakes, and now mention, why are you sowing in your harvest season? You know, and you're sort of in a dark place and you're thinking, how can this be a harvest season for me? You see, and it's amazing because my book was actually written and born out of that dark place I'm actually in. So for me, the turnaround was I shifted the perspective of the whole thing, and I had to reevaluate. And one of the strongest things that actually kept me going was the people I had around me, because that's when I was actually about to turn 40. And that was the same way my wife organized a surprise 40th birthday for me. You see, and it was a total surprise. I had absolutely no idea about it. So when I look back, I realized that the main strong force that kept me going was the relationships I had. Because even when I started picking myself up, it was the people I connected with genuinely, which I could reach out to. And obviously, because number one was I had to pick myself up first. And just that birthday was the main picking up spot for me, because I think there were around about 120, 130 people attended the birthday party. And these are people from my primary school, secondary school, those I grew up with. As she invited everybody, that some people I've not seen in years, you see. And when I saw them, and I thought to myself, all these people gathered for me, you know. And I just thought, wow. So I was absolutely, and they came from all 5 places, not even just within Milton Keynes, they're all from all over the place. So I was amazed at how far they drove down the came. Some even spent the night in hotels after the party, you know. So I was blown away, and it showed me, look, Victor, you are still very valuable to this world. You need to pick yourself up, and you need to go. And I think that was a major turnaround for me. So the key thing obviously was I had to shift that perspective, and I had to rethink. And obviously a book was actually born out of that situation. So I gave it purpose, basically, let's put it that way.
Wow. That is so good. And Victor, you know, that is one of my campaign, you know, and we are launching that because we got somebody that was ready to work with us. For anybody on the show that have gone through one thing and they want to write their book and they don't know where to start. And this lady said, if you have anybody in your show that have gone through one thing or the other and they want to write their book, I will collaborate with you and we'll do this together. Because what people don't know sometimes is we've gone through some things and you just put it somewhere.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there are other millions of people that want to learn from your experiences, you know, looking at that experience that, you know, you're down, and a lot of people, you know, came all the way to celebrate you. You know, because sometimes we don't see, you know, the good that we do. You know, we don't, it's just me, it's just Seyi. But there's just so much within us that God has put there that is making us unique. And if you are watching us today, you know, and you look at yourself and you see, you know, just like Victor in those times, and he was thinking, what's there to me? And you're in that position today. My advice to you, the way I say it, in case you do not know, I'm going to tell you again, you are one of the most special person in the whole world, because God took time to create you. Let no circumstances put you down. Let no financial hardship put you somewhere. Let no man, let no woman look at you and say you are not important. God took time to create a unique creature called you. You're special. So if nobody has told you, I'm telling you again, you are special. And cultivate the habit of gratitude and thanking God for you, because it took time to create you. So that's really good. And get that book. We're still going to be talking about that also. So if you're watching, share, comment, get somebody. So share, and don't let us miss this session, because I think it's the right time to start. We're just in the beginning of the year. It's time for us to do this together, put our goals together and run with it, you know. So that is so good. So what would you say are some of the barriers? I know you've talked about change your seat, change your perspective, the people you have around you, and I can stay on that for hours, you know. But what would you say are the barriers of intentionality? Because in the place of coaching, like both of us are, you find a lot of people, you know, when they come into your life, that you're like, I can't work with this person, because you know that they are not ready to move a step further. Or people that you've known that they have been around you, they have access to all the information, they have access to a lot of things, but nothing is changing. So what would you say are the barriers that we need to take away in 2021, the barriers of intentionality from your view?
Well, I think I can give you, there might be a few, but I think I can give you, like, let's say maybe 2 or 3, because I think number one is fear. You see, a lot of people are scared to actually take that step. You see, and because obviously when you decide to become intentional, you are going to have to shut a thing off. it takes a lot, because if I say, okay, fine, I'm going to be intentional about being healthy, that means you have to get up in the morning, you have to go for your runs or exercise, you have to eat the right food. That means a lot of sacrifice are going to take place. I wonder why. I wonder why it's on your face. So
when you mentioned the running in the morning.
Exactly. So you see, so you have to be intentional about that. So when people think as in, oh my Lord, I'll have to do all these things, nah. You see, and the thing is that even because when you're intentional, there are people who are in your life. It's not like friends. You have to say no to them because they're going to invite you to places that you don't want to go. But because now you're focusing on your purpose and you're being intentional about what you're trying to achieve, you can't go to those places. So you're going to have to say no. And by saying no, you're thinking, I'm going to offend people. So that's number one that actually hits people. When people think about all that, you think, you know what, now I don't think I'm going to take this step. Secondly is assumption. People assume that, oh, things are just, I don't worry. Like in Nigeria, we say ego better, you know, or the one of those common sayings I heard, oh, don't worry, God will help us. You know, and I'm sitting there looking at someone thinking he's not doing anything. You see, when you say they can find out, this country, this is going on, they'll finish complaining and now say God will help us. Nobody's being intentional about bringing that change because they can't be bothered. So all they're waiting for is, oh, God will come down from heaven and help them. Which I'm not going to do. And the last one is people have to take it. When you decide to be intentional, it involves responsibility. That means you're saying to yourself, this is 100% my responsibility. It's totally up to me. You cannot blame anybody for anything. So now you're taking the steering wheel and you're driving yourself towards those goals. You're driving yourself towards the purpose. You're being intentional and setting the sail to flow. You know, it's like when you put a boat on water and you just allow it to just float anyhow, then the waves just knock it and take it anywhere. But when you decide, okay, I'm going to hold this wheel, this is where I'm going to, and that's how I'm going to get there. You're being intentional about that. That means you're taking full responsibility with driving wheel in your hands, and you're controlling yourself towards your purpose. So when people think of that, okay, you know what? So I can't blame anybody again. When they realize that they have no opportunity, it's 100% responsibility. That's most people think, you know what? No, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to own it. So I think that's for time. I'll give you those three, and hopefully you can help someone assess themselves and reflect and think, is any of these things holding me back? And hopefully they will find a way of freeing themselves.
Wow, well, I like that, you know, actually that taking responsibility, because I think that is, you know, that is also key. You know, everything that you said, the fear, that is a fear factor. A lot of people have that fear, an assumption. But I want to stay a little bit at that place of taking responsibility, you know. And like I used to say, nobody can do the change. I was coaching a client the other day, and I said, what you're living, not doing today, have you ever thought about it that in 10 years, it's still going to be there because you are the only one that can do it? So the earlier you know that this thing that I'm pushing off, I'm still going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So do it, you know. And a lot of people, you know, stay away from taking responsibility, especially within our African community. You know, we try to rely a lot on, I will do the prayers, I will do all that, you know, without actually sitting down and taking responsibility. So for instance, I was talking to somebody, okay, you want to, I think it was my son, and I was like, okay, you want, and we were doing the vision board and setting together. And I said, you want to do how do you want to do? What is your part in achieving this? Are you just going to just listen? No, there's a lot that we need to do. And a lot of people, and according to John Maxwell also, he calls it the gap, and where you just assume that somebody will come and do it for you. No, nobody's going to do it for you. You will be the one taking responsibility. And I feel that needs to be shouted more at the top of the roof to every young person. You know, because especially in an environment like this, Victor, where things seems to work out, you know, there's always options. You talk to some young people and they say, oh, I don't need to go to Oxford. It's too academic. I don't need to go to that. And, you know, and they just leave good options. I'm not saying that's the best of the schools, but I'm just saying that whatever option you want, why don't you take the responsibility to be the best in whatever? Taking that responsibility, taking the responsibility to be the best father, taking the best responsibility to be the best mother, taking and you know, and not just as, you know, it's just it kind of tied together, because somebody will say, oh, but that's not the way I do it, I don't know about it, without taking responsibility of finding knowledge. of going to pursue, of paying for knowledge, of investing in themselves, of not saying, oh, this is the best version of me. So taking responsibility for me, I think, is the highlight of it, because when you take responsibility, you will not allow fear hold you down. When you
Definitely
take
not.
responsibility of your life, you will not allow assumptions to hold you down that, oh, that's the way it works, without actually going into it to make the best. So somebody will want to take a responsibility and say, okay, yes, this is a new year, there's lockdown. What responsibility do I need to take now
Yeah.
before this time goes off?
Yeah.
But a lot of us at the moment, we're just like, oh God, let this lockdown just go away. Let this lockdown just go. But there's so much responsibility and good that we all need to take
Yes.
at this period, so I kind of like that, I like that, and I just want to add to that also. A lot of people, and I think it's tied together, and I
Yeah.
tell people, just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Mhm.
They leave it there. They're like, okay, I will do it one day. And like you said initially, intent is different from intentionality. So
Yeah.
whatever God has placed in your heart, or that dream, that vision, that school, whatever it is, just do it. Just do it. Fail at it. At least you've done it. Try it. So that is good. So and the other part of of this barrier, and I know that you work with the young people, you work with within the community and all that. How can we, I know that the responsibility is with people, but how can we help people within the community to be able to achieve more? Because at the crux of my heart, I'm like, okay, we've seen that. What can we do collectively within our own community to actually help break this barrier in schools, in churches, in our environment? What can we do, Victor?
I think the most important thing is role modeling, because I think it's easier to get people to do things when they can actually see you doing it too. So I think we need role models. I think that's one of the most important things for us. So we need to see, because I'm the kind of person in which, because I'm a transformational speaker, I hardly talk about stuff I have not done myself before. So I will not give you medicine that I've not tested on myself. And that's what I do most of the time. So, and even if I give you medicine that I've not tested on myself, at that particular time, maybe I am in the process of testing it on myself. So I'm either saying to you, I've walked this path, let's walk together, or I've walked this path, so I've created the path for you, all you have to do is walk down the path, or I'm saying to you, let's hold hands and let's walk together. So it's whichever way it is, I have to make sure that I'm involved in the process. And I think that's what's really important to us. So we need role models who are open, who are plain, who are true to themselves about what they're doing, who have the right and clean intentions. I am there to truly help these people, and to begin to have these conversations around that. So to me, I think the biggest and the most important thing we can do is being role models. Because I think to a large extent, when you look at somebody, when you talk about what you want and talk about where you can get it, the who, I heard a speaker once saying, when you can't see anyone there, it makes it very, very hard to get there. And it's the same thing too, when you look at it, when you talk about the 1 minute mile, everyone said it wasn't possible to run a mile in 4 minutes. And then as soon as one person did it, everyone started doing it. So it's that kind of thing where once that barrier is broken, once people can see that that barrier can be broken, it encourages them to come along. And then because it's that shift, everyone has put that mentality, they put that roof, that ceiling, and everyone feels, no, there's a ceiling here I cannot get past. But once they see this guy has passed that ceiling, that lady has passed that ceiling, that woman has passed that ceiling, then they'll know it could be done. And it's amazing how much it shifts perspectives, and people push harder and they actually get there.
Wow, I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that. So in other words, being role models is saying the way we say it in the transformation world, that change begins with you.
Exactly.
Everyone, change begins with you. So once you know that change begins with you, you don't need to wait for anybody. So in your home, you can start the change as a father, as a mother, in your school, wherever you are. Be the change that you want to see. It's so important. Whatever it takes for you to be able to get that change, reading, learning, reaching out to people, just do it so that we can all collectively, because nobody can do it alone, isn't it? And I like God for something. He's put different passion in different people. And I wonder why. How come he's not saying everybody should just do one thing? He's a God of diversity. He's a God of numerous parts. So he's put this finding purpose in me. He's put another one in you, even though we're transformational, but he's in different aspect. Why is he doing that? So that then collectively we can achieve more, and there's space for you that he has created for you. Nobody will take your space because he has already put that in you. But if you don't stand as a role model, that space is vacant.
True.
And are you just going to leave it? So I like that being a role model, to in achieving intentionality. Also, Victor, just going to my next question. If you're just watching us, this is Finding Purpose with Seyi, where we talk about real issue. We talk about finding purpose. We talk about things that can help us find purpose. We talk about how we can use our pain, our whatever we've gone through in life, to build purpose and to become a better person in all that we do. We thrive to be a better person. We thrive in all that we do to actually be the change agent. The change agent that you want to be. We are the catalyst that changes a lot of things all around us. So you're welcome. Share, tell somebody. If you have some questions, please send it to us, send it in so that then we can bombard Victor with some questions and he will answer it. Going into the next question, how are you able to maintain discipline during this period where everyone is at home and you don't feel like, I know you do a lot of running and all that. So, but how are you able, maybe you'll be able to teach some of us, to be able to have that discipline to do all this that you do, initially in this time that everybody is stuck at home, the children, the wife, the husband. How do we, cultivate that aspect of discipline, in line with intentionality?
Yeah, I think it's a tough one, and I must say to you, yes, it is, because when the first lockdown started around March, what I actually, in fact, for like 2 weeks, all I did was sleep. I was waking up very late. I was not even doing anything. You see, it's true, I'm human, so we all have our ups and downs. So all I did was just sleep, because I'm trying to understand this thing. Where do I even start from? You see, because it's all feel overwhelmed as if how do I make the most out of this whole time? But once I had to sit down and decide, fine, you know what, I need to do something. I can't just keep sleeping. He said, now I have to get up and I have to get disciplined. He said, I think it's all about putting plans in place. Now, you see, I'm an early person, so I wake up very early, 4 o'clock, 4:30, I'm up. So because of that, and because I have 3 children, I know that once they wake up, because obviously they're at home schooling now, so they don't have to wake up early, they wake up about 8 o'clock. So I know for at least from that 4:30 to 8, I'm locked in to do anything I want to do. All my thinking, the reading, my Bible study, my prayers, I get everything done. So because I know that once they're awake, either the house gets noisy, or there's so many things you have to do, or you struggle to concentrate throughout the whole day. So I have to find that discipline. You know what, I'm going to make sure I'm up early in the morning and I get my own stuff done. So even if I get distracted for the rest of the day, I know that, look, at the end of the day, I know I've achieved the ultimate things I need to achieve early in the morning. To me, that's what so you have to, it's about getting intentional, to be honest with you, because if you ask me about what is the exact key to it, I think it's a difficult question to answer, because everyone's situation is different. You see, so obviously I have to sit there. If I'm talking to someone one-on-one, I can say, okay, fine, tell me, what do you do in the whole day? How do we zoom it all in? But I think it's all about just planning your day. What do I need to achieve? And sometimes I think, because my slogan is small wins and big victories. I think sometimes we tend to overwhelm ourselves. We think we have to do big stuff. But sometimes we don't realize that it's just that small thing that you do. If I just tidy one table today, you'd be amazed at how much difference I feel within myself by just doing that. So I think if you might think, most of the time, people don't get into form because they're worrying about how much they have to do. But I think if you just zoom it down, you'd be amazed at how much you can actually achieve by just doing small every day, and you can get a lot done.
Oh, well, that is really good, especially where you say that sometimes we look at the big things and leaving the small things. Because taking you for an example, and your wife Edna, with 3 kids and all, that's a lot of work to do. With lockdown, they have to do their schoolwork, you have to read. It's easy. I won't say it's easier for people that have older kids. The kids can supervise themselves, but for the younger ones that you have to go through what they have done, that is a win on its own, that you're able to do that along with work with 3 others great men and men of God, like I call them, So it's a lot of work, and that's an achievement, to somebody, because some people say, "Oh, I'm not able to do something," and because of that, they feel overwhelmed. But for you, that you're watching us with kids, homeschooling, with all that, I say kudos to you, because that is a lot of work on your side, and don't trivialize that, because you are training lives, so don't trivialize that. So that is I say well done, and I give you a badge of honor, for people with kids. And I have a friend that she has 4 kids. I don't know how she does, and they're still young. I don't know how she does it. We walk, we do with all that, Sometimes she says she's in the meeting and one is crying, and she's like, "Sorry, boss, I have to go." So it's a lot of work. So to everyone homeschooling and everything, and the bit also that I like is they eat 6 times a day. So
Wow.
so that's all, because they will eat. Can I snack? Can I do all that? It's part of it. So we trivialize the small things, and leave the big things. But why the big things is also important, I like what you said, putting plans in place, putting a lot of plans in place. And sometimes those plans, you need help. Some plans might be getting people to make you accountable to get those plans in place. Some of those plans will even mean by automating some things to be able to get you to be able to do. There was a friend, I was talking to, and I saw him doing some things, and I said, "How are you able to do 4 of this thing at the same time?" And said, "Oh, Shay, have you ever heard of automation?" I said, "Yes, I have." I said, "I use it every time." So now I call him boss of automation, because literally, if you tell him anything, he will go and look for how he can do it. So there are things that can help us to put things in place so that we are not held back because of all there are seasons in life, and we can prioritize it. But don't let little things hold you down, because you have not sought for knowledge to be able to get you to be able to do those things. Is so important. So we have to prepare for it. We have to have the right attitude. We have the opportunity, and then action all that we have in it. Yeah, that's good. So what active steps do we have? Because one of the things also in intentionality is mindset. And I know you're also keen on mindset. Where does mindset, take, have, where does mindset sit in intentionality?
I think, if you,
2021.
I think to me it sits very powerfully, and I'll give maybe a few steps, like practical things, as even now to shift that mindset basically, because obviously I know it's tough for everyone to actually do anything in the lockdown. And I'll just share some of the kind of things I did. The first thing I did was I changed my physique, because I know I said I was sleeping for like 2 weeks, and then when I woke, I said, fine, shift your mindset, perspective, and to do something different now. Where do I start from? And I remember even Tony Robbins talks about physiology a lot, as in how you carry yourself, your body. He mentions a lot. So I started with physiology. Obviously, my office in the house is, I've got 3 kids, I have to spread them around the house to do their school. So one is in the lounge, one is in my office in the house, and the third one is in the kitchen. So, and then when first lockdown, we had a guest who was staying with us, so the best was in the guest room. So obviously we had to, so the only place I had more or less to go was, sometimes I do Zoom calls in the kids' room, sometimes I go to in my own room. So the first thing I had to do was I went and got an old office chair I had from the garage, and I put it in the room. So because I had that chair in the room, I don't have to sit on my bed and do work. Now I sit on the chair. I'm in the same room, but I've changed my location now. Now I'm on a chair. My mentality shifted too, because now I know, okay, fine, this is work mode now, because you're no more on the bed, now you're on the chair. Secondly, exercise. I did not joke with exercise. And the reason why I didn't focus on exercise much was I actually registered myself for marathons, for like virtual marathons, which actually I think I did 2 virtual marathons, 1 5 kilometers, 1 half marathon. I did another one again in December. So because I set those goals, I had to achieve them. So I had to go out running every single time and exercising every single time, because that was the way I could prepare myself for those marathons. So that kept me going too, which is very important. Third is talk about your discipline. And I think the discipline is very, very important. You plan the day, you decide what you're trying to achieve in that day, and even just finding one thing. Today, I need to achieve this thing. And you're amazed that no matter how small it is, as long as you've done it, you'll be excited about the whole thing too. And then for me too, I say one thing is different is get dressed. A lot of people walk around in their 90s and they don't do it. It makes a big, big difference. You see, I'm on a Zoom call now. I'm dressed in a suit and everything else. And to be honest with you, I'm not wearing shorts. I'm properly dressed. I'm wearing socks. The only thing I'm not wearing is shoes. You see, and
I'm wearing a shoe.
Exactly. Exactly. Most people might think, oh well, because just wear shorts and this thing. My shirt is tucked in with a belt. I'm fully properly dressed. I'm only not wearing shoes. I can just go out as I am now. All I push and just go. Anywhere I can go that way. But most people don't bother. Okay, they don't get dressed. They can't be bothered, and that's where they don't realize that their mentality doesn't drive in that kind of flow. And very quickly, I think I'll talk about Zoom calls. A lot of people have Zoom calls at home. They don't turn their cameras on. You see, because by the time you're dressed and you're looking nice and everything else, if you turn, I think it's, to me, I feel it's that connectivity when you turn the camera on those Zoom calls, either the Zoom meetings or Zoom calls, when you have the camera on, it makes a big difference. To me, I feel there's a different feel to it, there's a better connectivity to it. Because most of us can't be able to dress up or something like that, we don't want to turn the cameras on, or you can just find somewhere, and even if you don't just have to be, I think most people they don't want to show where their houses are, just find somewhere playing ball and turn the camera on. And I think there'll be a better connectivity. And finally, have accountability. You see? And yes, I spray perfume too, actually.
I actually do that too, actually.
Exactly. And I actually spray perfume to the truth. So that's interesting. And yes, I do spray perfume too. And last one, accountability. One of the things I did was I was in a group, a mastermind group too. So we used to meet like weekly. We were studying a book from John Maxwell too, and in fact, it was in the mastermind actually led to us even publishing a book. After all, as a group, 9 of us. So it was so even that mastermind, we held ourselves accountability. We talk about things we had to do. We challenged ourselves, and so all those few things I've given, it kept me motivated. It kept me going. You see, even during lockdown, I encourage everybody. You can do 1 or 2, but most importantly, first things first, for your mental shift, not physiology, move from the bed to a chair, and you'll be amazed how much difference it makes.
Wow, you've thrown me off balance there. Because I like the fact that, I just, I wake up, have my bath, and just, okay, the day have started, but I don't actually, dress like this every morning. But listening to that's changed a lot of things actually. But what I've done for me is, okay, I have a space that I walk, but with the lockdown, I said, no, I want to convert my sitting room to my office. So it's a proper office now that I've done, because then I'm able to work better. It feels, and that's setting if I feel like an executive, in my own space, in my own space, and don't disturb me, knock before you come in here. It doesn't matter. Don't be deceived because you're home. Just knock and make sure. And that kind of makes a lot of difference, because then you are seeing yourself, and it's all about also mindset. You're also seeing yourself, doing all that, because with the atmosphere that we are in right now, we all have to get up and get dressed, put on the perfumes, and do all that, and get it, because then it's a feel about you, is how you feel inside. That's what is going to be expressed outside. So we need to boost, our emotions. We need to boost how we feel inwardly to be able to, and that's where also exercise coming. I'm quite guilty about that. Also, especially waking up in the morning, because I'm a night crawl. Wow. I walk better in the night. I walk better in the night. So, but that exercise, is also something, because even with mental health, with our well-being, and you don't have to be like Victor with the marathons or all that, but you just do something.
Long walks.
Yeah.
Take a long walk.
Exactly. Take a long walk with your earphones, and listen to podcasts, books. You can download them. There's Audible, there's Blinkist, a lot of them there. While you are doing that, and just add that. A friend of mine would say is value stacking. Stack what you want to do with what you don't want to do. You don't like exercise, but you like reading. So put them together and just merge them together. To be able to do that. I remember those days that I wanted to start cultivating my reading habits. And I was like, okay, I've always liked reading, but as you grow up, you're like, oh God, there's just so much books at home. Then I remember Bishop Oyedeji talking one day, and he said, it's not the number of books that you have in your bookshelves that matter. It's the book that you have actually read. So I wanted to cultivate that habit of reading the book. And one of the things I did, but I love, one of my way of relaxing is going to hotels. I love going to hotels and just having my mocha I'll just sit down there, just have the feel of the ambience. I love it, So I'll take my book there, and take my mocha, ask for my cup of mocha or whatever it is, even though the cup would be this small with it and it's expensive, but even the feel, and I will go with my book and I'll make sure, I will determine that before I leave here today, I must finish 2 or 3 chapters of this book. And that works for me. So think of what works for you to be able to get yourself into that move and change your mindset. It's all about mindset. It's all about mindset. Once the mindset is sorted, everything is sorted. Once the mindset is worked upon, everything is 100%. So work on that first, and do some of the things that Victor has told us today. And I like that. Get dressed. That's if they're not taking anything today. Make sure you get dressed. Sit up. Get dressed. I like that. I was not doing that.
The good thing about getting dressed is you get to actually try your clothes on. So if they're getting too tight, then you know that you need to do something about it very quickly. Because you don't get too tight after all the lockdowns, you realize you have no clothes to wear. So that's even a good warning sign for you.
Wow. You see how great people think? And if they are getting too big, you know that you have to get out there. You have to get out there. So would you say, I know we're rounding up very soon. So in your own view, and to you, would you say you have found purpose? And how have you found purpose? And how are you pursuing your purpose? I know you're doing a lot of initiative and all that, but would you say you found purpose? And how did you find purpose? And what is the purpose? And how are you working with your purpose?
I think my purpose mainly, I feel I've been called to impact change in Africa, and I think that's my ultimate purpose, because from all directions and all indications, I've seen myself sort of go in that kind of way, because my whole journey started from, okay, I'm just going to go to Nigeria. Then I found myself in Ghana, then Kenya, then Kigali, Rwanda. I'm doing some works in Zambia now. You see, so when you look at the whole thing, I'm beginning to find myself get across Africa. In fact, officially, I should be flying to Malawi in the next few weeks because of lockdown. The event has gone online now, so I can say I'm going to be in Malawi. That's what I don't even say anyway. So I found myself literally going across the continent. And in fact, even some of the organizations out there, I think I'm the torchbearer for one of the foundations in Kenya, which I'm from West Africa already. So from the way things have turned out and opened up, I could feel a very strong calling where my heart actually drives through there. So if you ask me if I found purpose, I could say yes, I have, because everything I do is around that. Because my mind constantly, anything I'm thinking about is always an idea that is playing in that direction. So I believe that that's my calling and that's my purpose. And so daily I have to work on myself and build myself to drive in that direction. And because even when and think about purpose too is you don't even have to even say things to people to actually know. Some people some of my friends just see me and call me. Some people call me Mr. Nigeria. You see, as in because they feel this guy has got too much passion and too much drive for out of Africa, whatever it is. And every time something comes up that has to do with Africa, whatever it is now, my name is always ask Victor or whatever it is. So it clearly shows that I didn't have to even say it. It shines and just shows out there basically.
Wow. I like that. I like that. And one of the things about purpose, like tell people, is you don't have the full scope.
Yeah, sure.
But as you continue, you see it keeps expanding. So from Nigeria to Malawi, and it will get bigger, and you'll be wondering, but it just only started with just a nudge within me, and that's why you have to sit down and ask. And if you want to know more about finding your purpose, please reach out to me. We're having a course very soon. So if you're interested, please reach out also so that then we can help you. You need to be able to answer those questions and see and look at trends in your life to be able to understand, why am I tilting towards this aspect? Why is this, things that do not make me sleep? Why is this the topic that is always coming up over and over? You need to sit down and look at some of those things that is coming through your life to be able to fulfill purpose. So, Victor, how can people join your initiative? Or how can they find that initiative? Or how do they find you with the initiative that you're doing?
Well, if you want to find me, you can. I think all across all my platforms, my name appears at the Victor Tarfa. So either is Clubhouse or Instagram or Facebook, or it's still the same name right away to LinkedIn. And we can always connect them because obviously you always start with a question. We can have 30 minutes of conversation, knowing to see what you're trying to do or what you're doing, and then we just take it from there. So because I understand that every human being is unique, so I believe and I'm very strong on that individuality and being unique and being yourself. So I'm very careful not to throw the same brush at everybody. So it's always important to have that initial conversation to understand what you want to do, what are you trying to achieve, and then we just work from there.
Wow, wow, wow. So please reach out to him. How do we get your books? Especially the new one.
The books are available on Amazon. The new book is actually is a free download. The new one we just written now in the group is an ebook
Tell
at the
us a
moment.
bit about the new book because I like it just a bit so that people will be testing.
The great thing about new book is like when the mastermind having a conversation, and somebody mentioned, I think, is there any time when we should give up? Because every time we listen to motivational speakers, everybody else, the conversation never, ever, 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 ever give up. But we now thought, well, there are times in which maybe we need to give up. So when that question was asked, that's why I debated, hang on, is there any book out there somebody can read and know how to give up? Because I think we need to learn how to give up sometimes because you might be banging against, you might be heading the wrong direction, but because it's really never to give up, you just carry on going because you're scared to turn around, so you're not beginning to feel like you're a loser. So we now thought, hang on. So we now decided to share our stories. 9 of us decided to share our stories. So we called it a collection of essays. So each of us looked at it from a different perspective, from personal experiences, and we brought it together into an ebook. So it's very interesting to read, and it's good because there are different perspectives to the whole thing. So you can pick different things from different people and also make up your own too and decide on. You can see yourself in most of the stories that wherever you are in life, you can see yourself in it as in, okay, am I in this one or am I in this story? What did this person do here? Can I use the same strategy? Can I do the same thing here too? How do I weigh the risks? How do I? So it's good to. It's a good one.
Wow, wow. I like that. I like that. I like that. And I like the fact that, where you said, I know we're rounding up, where you said sometimes you need to give up. Because sometimes it's not just walking. Sometimes you look at your life and say, oh, okay, do I need to unlearn some things? You've learned some things that is not serving you for a long time. And you're like, oh, do I need to unlearn this? Sometimes it's even business. Maybe that business is not booming anymore. Maybe it's not, you need to put some things in. And if you sit down, it's too much of what you're going to put in to put it. Sometimes you just need to do the U-turn. And no matter how fast you are on the wrong direction, you're still in the wrong direction. So I like that, So go get that, and it's free download. Go get it, and read it and get, and see 2021 for me. When I was praying about 2021, one of the words that God gave me is restored to manifest.
Wow.
Restored to manifest. So you have been restored. But you're just there saying, oh, I'm restored, but you're not manifesting. So this year is all about year of manifestation. So you need to get, and that's why we're starting with intentionality. You need to get yourself all the toolbox to be able to manifest. Look at, imagine you're in December 2021 and just imagine all those manifestations that will go behind your name. Imagine the Queen is giving you an award for your manifestation. It's possible. Somebody's listening and say, oh no, that's not me. It's possible, and I'm telling you, it's possible that you acknowledge, you are given a mark. Look at that man that just died yesterday. Every transformation in his life started within 10 months. So don't disqualify yourself. I'm tapping into that also. I won't wait to 100 anyway. But don't trivialize yourself. That dream can still come to pass. That idea can still come to pass. That big thing that seems big, that seems impossible, that you're like, is it possible? Can I get on TEDx? Can I be featured in Forbes? Can I? All those things that you're looking at like, no, it can happen for other people. No, I'm telling and I'm declaring to you as you're listening to me, whether now or replay, that it will come to pass because you have been restored to manifest. The word of God says to him that is able to do far more than what you can think or imagine, that it will do to you. So everything that seems as if, some people got it in 2021. I'm telling you, in 2020, and you're like, I might not get it. Things like I don't have the job. Yes, I have the idea. I don't have the finances. I don't have the resources. I can't speak very well. My English is not good. And all those things that we put into the box that pull us down. I'm telling you, you might not understand it. I'm a Christian. It says you might not see the wind. You might not see the water, but what the valley will be filled. It doesn't matter whether you have all those billions in your account. It doesn't matter whether you have the Mr. Victor close to you as somebody that can give you all the knowledge or Seyi. But the Lord, once you determine and you are intentional about having those dreams done, He will make it come to pass. So
Amen.
believe it, believe it. So, Mr. Tafa, what's your last word for our viewers before we
Yeah,
go?
I want to say,
I don't want to start preaching.
I want to say, get intentional about everything you do. At every point someone says to you, why are you doing this? Always have an answer question. And you know that you're traveling in the right direction. So guys, I want to say, stay blessed and we love you.
Wow. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Until we come 2 weeks' time, we're meeting. This is a bi-weekly show where we bring in different guests to be able to talk about issues. And 2 weeks is another interesting guest. I will not tell you about it yet. So see you then. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining. And again, my name is Seyi. I'll see you when we meet. Thank you. Bye.